people have always asked me, first thing, who is like the biggest celebrity you've ever met, like through radio, just ever? Mm-hmm. And I would say Justin Bieber.
Oh, wow.
And I was like my first year in radio. And this was actually, he had a huge concert at Tacoma Dome. And he was like still a baby. This was like literally 12 or 13 years ago. Like I was like very new to the show. And they thought it would be funny if they sent the new guy who's never done radio or interviews ever to interview. Like we had backstage passes and to interview Justin. And they were like, let's send the new kid. So my first ever radio interview was me and Jubal came with me and we interviewed Justin Bieber, but it was maybe the coolest guy. He was super fucking nice. He did keep his like stunner shades on the whole time. This was back when he kind of looked like Ellen DeGeneres, right? When he was like super skinny and just like the long wavy hair, but he had his but he was super nice and they told him I was new and immediately he was like, you have a great radio voice. This guy needs to be, because I told him, I'm like, I'm auditioning for a job. I don't even have this gig. Like they weren't even paying me at the time. Mm-hmm. And so he was like advocating. He's like, if your bosses are listening, hey, you need to hire this kid. So he was really cool to me.
That's
and then
awesome.
The coolest thing ever was I asked him about Segways, right? I was like, I hear you like racing Segways. This is back when Segways were a thing before hoverboards. Segways, right? Where you ride them like Paul Blart. And, the most out of touch thing he's ever said is I was like, bro, I hear you like to race Segways. And he's like, yeah, do you have one? And I was like, no, like, they're like thousands of dollars at the time. I'm sure they still are. And he was like, I have an extra one in my dressing room, bro. You want to race? And I was like, dude, that would be so sick. And he was like, yeah, bro, let's race our Segways. And he's like, yeah, man, just wait around here. And then after I only have like 2 interviews left and then you and me can race. And I'm like, this is amazing. Yeah. So we're waiting around. And after the interview, and his manager comes up and he's like, hey, are you guys all done with the interview? And I was like, yeah, I'm just waiting for Justin. We're going to race Segways. He's like, what? I was like, yeah, he said he wanted to like do some hallway like Segway races. We're going to film it for the show. And he's like, no, you're not going to do that. And I was like, what? And his manager's like, I cannot let him be racing Segways hours before his show. Like, makes sense. Like they don't want him to break his arm or just, fall or whatever, any kind of liability. So his manager pulled out of his pocket. He goes, here's 2 free tickets to the show tonight. Like, get out of here. So I ended up giving it I wasn't a fan yet. I actually am now because his like next album was actually really good. But at the time I didn't give a shit. It was like still baby, mm-hmm. Justin. So I gave the tickets to my boss and they gave out on site at the move-in tent, they gave it to lucky winner. And they were like, we got a pair of tickets directly from Justin's manager, whatever. And there was so much hype. And that got me into the best graces with those bosses.
Oh, for sure.
So it was like, he gave me free tickets. He was nice to me. He was talking about me on the interview, talking me up. So that's kind of boring, but I do want to shout out, like, Justin Bieber is my best friend.
You have Bieber
I don't want to
fever.
Exaggerate, but yeah, like him and I are besties.
Hey, if you like that video, make sure to hit the subscribe button and follow our page for new weekly content.